There are many categories in Pokemon that certain groups of moves fall under. These are categories like punching moves or biting moves that have unique interactions with certain items and abilities, and I actually made 2 videos explaining these categories which I recommend you check out. However, when I was making these videos, I realized that there could be even more categories of moves, so I thought it would be fun to make some of my own categories. Along with that, I will be coming up with the names of the abilities and items these moves interact with, just like I did in those videos, and I'll be suggesting some Pokemon that I feel should get these abilities. Keep in mind that this video is purely theoretical, and I will admit that some of the names I came up with are kinda cheesy. Please feel free to suggest what names you would have come up with, or if you would tweak any of the categories I made. Now, let's get on with the categories. First up, we have kicking moves. I'm honestly surprised that this isn't already in the game, since there are so many moves that are explicitly described to be kicks, and some Pokemon ROM hacks have already incorporated this category of moves into their games. For example, Pokemon Radical Red has the ability Striker, which increases the power of all kicking moves by 30%, a reference to the soccer or football position. I couldn't find the exact list of kicking moves from Radical Red, so I went through and made a list of my own, which wasn't too hard. For the list of kicking moves I went with, they all have kick in the name except for 2 that I would like to point out. Triple Axle is a kicking move because the description states that it is a 3-kick attack. A triple axle is also a real-life ice skating reference where the skater spins around and then swings their leg out 3 times, explaining why the move is ice-type. Low Sweep is a kicking move due to both the animation and the Japanese name for it being low kick. The Japanese name for low kick, by the way, is kick down, which still involves kicking. Radical Red gives the Striker ability to Hitmonlee, Blaziken, Hisuian Decidueye, Mudsdale, and Zarina. I would also add Cinderace to that list, since it's literally called the Striker Pokemon, and maybe Hisuian Lilligant and Mienshao too. Something else I would like to add is the held item Shin Guards, which would protect the holder from crash damage on the few kicking moves that have crash damage like High Jump Kick, another soccer reference. This is a niche interaction, but I really think that some Pokemon with Striker would really benefit from risk-free kicking moves. Next, we have slamming moves. These are all physical attacking moves that involve the user slamming the target with the full force of its body. This category of moves was inspired by, and is an extension of, a category that already exists in Pokemon, which is the moves that deal double damage and have perfect accuracy against Pokemon that have used Minimize. Minimize is a normal type status move that increases the user's evasiveness by 2 stages. From a lore perspective, this unique interaction is likely because if you minimized yourself and become smaller, it will be a lot easier and hurt a lot more if an opponent slammed the full weight of their body onto you. For this move category, I used all the moves that were originally counted in the minimize interaction, as well as any other move that was described as the user slamming the target. Slamming moves would interact with the ability Heavy Impact and Pokemon that use Minimize. Heavy Impact increases the power of slamming moves by 50%, and Pokemon that use Minimize would have the same interaction as I mentioned earlier. Pokemon that would get the ability Heavy Impact include Satitan, Copperajah, Snorlax, Wailord, Mamoswine, Hariyama, and Dondozo, all heavy Pokemon that are capable of learning many existing slamming moves. Next, we have light moves. Before the Fairy type was implemented, many fans speculated that if we did end up getting a new type, it would be the Light type, as a counterpart to the Dark type. But the Dark type is less about literal darkness, and more along the lines of being evil, as the Japanese translation of the Dark type is the Evil type. Thus, the Light type as a counterpart to the Dark type argument doesn't really make as much sense. Now that we have the Fairy type, and the new Stellar Terra type, I think it's safe to say that we won't be getting any more new types. I think a good compromise for fans who still want the Light type is to make the Light type into a move category. Kinda like how the Sound type was never implemented, but we still have the sound-based moves category. Anyway, for light moves, I ended up going with these following moves. They are all special attacking moves that are explicitly stated in their in-game descriptions to use some kind of light. I've also decided to include some special attacking moves with beam in the name, as even though the descriptions do not explicitly mention the use of light, the in-game animations do seem to suggest so. Light moves would interact with the ability Luminous, and the item Polarized Sunglasses. Luminous would increase the power of light moves by 50%, and Polarized Sunglasses would make the holder immune to light moves. Pokemon that would get the ability Luminous include Starmie, Lantern, Volbeat, Shintonic, Aurorus, Cryogonal, Ampharos, Gourgeist, and Solrock. I went with Starmie, Lantern, Volbeat, and Shintonic because they all get the ability Illuminate, which feels very fitting to go along with this other ability, Luminous. The rest of them just learn a lot of light moves and have designs that could suggest them emitting bright beams of light. Next, we have tail moves. These are all physical attacking moves that involve the user attacking the target with its tail. For the list of tail moves, I've decided to go with all attacking moves that have tail in the name, with one exception, Breaking Swipe. This move's description states that the user attacks opposing Pokemon with its tail, and the animation of this move also suggests that the Pokemon uses its tail. Tail moves would interact with the ability Lashing Force, in that it would increase the power of tail moves by 50%. I've decided to exclude the moves Tail Whip and Tail Glow since they are status moves, and they don't really fit with the theme of this ability anyway, and it's not like Tail Glow needs to be any better either. Pokemon that would get the ability Lashing Force would be Dragapult, Dracozolt, Dragonite, Golduck, Charizard, Seviper, Salamence, Salazzle, Haxorus, Baxcalibur, Rampardos, Crocodile, and Cyclizar. These are all Pokemon with firm tails that I could definitely see them using for strong attacks. They also learn a fair bit of tail moves already, and upon gaining this ability, it would be fitting for them to learn some more tail moves as well. Lastly, we have wing moves. These are all physical and special attacking moves that involve the user attacking the target with its wings. For this category of moves, I went with all attacking moves that have wing in the name, as well as a few others, since this category would be way too small otherwise. Brave Bird is a wing move because the description states that the user tucks in its wings, which I guess means that it doesn't actually use its wings, but just go with it. Fiery Dance is a wing move because the description states that the user flaps its wings to attack the target. Sky Attack is a wing move because the animation shows the user attacking with wings. Wing moves would interact with the ability Winged Fury, in that it would increase the power of wing moves by 50%. Pokemon that would get this ability include Aerodactyl, Skarmory, Honchkrow, Braviary, Corviknight, Noivern, Staraptor, and Crobat, all Pokemon with strong wings that learn a lot of wing moves. And those are Pokemon categories I made up, as well as the items and abilities I made up to go along with them. Like I said in the beginning, this video is purely theoretical, so I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas in the comments. Other than that, I really appreciate if you watched all the way to the end. If you want to support me and my channel, the best way to do so is just by leaving a nice comment. I currently do not have any perks for members, so please do not join unless you really want to support me and are financially capable of doing so. Likes are also one of the ways in which YouTube determines if a video should be passed around to more people, so if you feel that this video deserves it, I would appreciate it. I post Pokemon related videos every Sunday at 10 AM Eastern Standard Time, as well as some shorts thrown in here and there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.